How much does a food truck permit cost in Louisiana? And how do you get a food truck license in Louisiana? So those are two great questions. If you're looking to start a food truck business in the great state of Louisiana, I'm going to go over the permits and licenses that you will need. And of course, how much do they roughly cost to get up and running? So if you're looking to create a food truck business in Louisiana, you definitely want to watch this video from beginning to end here on Food Truck Freaks, YouTube's premier food truck entrepreneur channel. We're going to get to that right now. All right, so welcome back to Food Truck Freaks. This is YouTube's premier food truck entrepreneur channel, and it is Damian Roberti, founder and CEO of Marketing Food Online. We actually are not new to YouTube. We have several food entrepreneur channels here on YouTube, but we just started this channel, and it's going to help you, the food truck entrepreneur, either grow your existing food truck business, get your food truck business started, or just create several variations and lines of income for your food truck. We got some great videos on how to create multiple sources of income, as a matter of fact, on your food truck. So let's get into this specific about permits and licenses in the state of Louisiana. So number one, EIN. So every food truck, or actually any food business for that matter, needs an EIN. So what's an EIN? It's an employer identification number. For IRS purposes, you're going to need to definitely file your EIN and make sure you have one. This is going to be helpful for your accountant during tax season, of course. But every employer who either has employees or even if you're self-employed, you need to have an EIN. They're actually free to get. You go to the IRS website, you type in EIN in their search box, and it'll bring you to the page where you can literally fill out the form and get one. So it's kind of like a social security number for your business, and your food truck will be all set to go with the IRS, and you'll be able to fill out your taxes and everything you need for the end of the year. Next up, if you're starting a food truck business in Louisiana, number two, you're going to need to obtain a business license. Like any other business, even though it is a mobile food business and it's not a restaurant or stationary brick and mortar, you still need to make sure that, of course, you have a business license. Now, this will vary based on your state and, of course, based on where you're going to be and everything else in between. So be sure to definitely get an EIN, and you will be all set to go as far as that's concerned, and your business license. So the third thing you're going to need, of course, is a valid driver's license. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Damian, that's kind of silly. Of course, driver's license, I need to have a valid one. Well, believe it or not, you have to think about this too. If you are a food truck owner and you are not able to be either at the food truck, the opening in the morning, if you've got an event, and you have an employee who doesn't have a valid license and they're driving your food truck, which is your bread and butter, it's your business, and there's unfortunately happens something, that they get in a car accident, or if they are speeding, or they get pulled over, they don't have a valid license, your food truck is going to have some serious problems. And if that is your bread and butter and that's where you're making money from, then you're going to have some big problems to deal with. So make sure that everyone on staff has a valid license, and there's nothing as far as any DUIs or anything negative on their driving record, because you don't want to hire someone who potentially may not have a valid license, and that could cause some serious problems for you. Number four, in Louisiana, you're going to need a seller's permit. This is actually something that a lot of food truck owners may not even be aware of, but a seller's permit allows you to actually buy your ingredients at wholesale from a wholesaler or wholesale prices. And not only that, it's specifically set up for you not to pay taxes when you buy the ingredients. Because when you make the sale, if your state requires food sales tax, you need to make sure that you collect the sales tax at the time of the transaction, and of course remit that sales tax to the state, city, or county, however your city or county or state may be set up. So normally, as far as like we're out of Georgia here, we actually every year we are on a yearly program where we remit our sales tax to the state, and we do that through their website. But sometimes when we first started, actually they had actually set us up every 3 months, and then we went to 6 months, and then instead of every year, every quarter, they went to a full year. So make sure that you remit your sales tax, of course, if you've got it within your state, and you can do that with a seller's permit by not paying taxes on your products. Next up, food handler's permit. Now, these are also known, by the way, as food safety certifications or food safety. Normally, ServSafe is one that's recognized nationwide. And this is a program that you and, of course, your employees can go through, and many states require it, or cities and counties require it. It's going to be a program that allows them to learn how to serve food properly, reheat food properly, store it, serve it, keep everything sanitized, everything about serving food, cooking it properly, making sure the temperatures are correct, etc. All of this is going to come through on these courses, and then you get ServSafe certified. Now, normally what happens with a lot of brick and mortar restaurants or fast food places, there'll be a manager on duty And there's always got to be a ServSafe certified individual who normally is a supervisor or manager on duty at all times. Now, food trucks are no different in many states. So make sure you check into either having a food handler's permit or a safety certification course. Next up, the health department. Of course, your food truck will be inspected, and you want to make sure that you're getting your checked off with the health department. They're going to inspect you, by the way, before you even open, and then they're either going to do it every quarter, every 6 months, or every year. Actually, the Department of Agriculture, with our commercial kitchen, they come in every year on an annual basis and check out our commercial kitchen through the Department of Agriculture. But normally through food trucks in your state, you'll go through the health department. Your local city or county, normally the county health department, has offices everywhere, and they'll come in and they'll double check and make sure that you're good to go. Now, sometimes if they receive any complaints about your food truck, or people are getting sick, or someone has gotten sick, if they call the health department on it, they're going to come out, and you don't want that to happen, because that's not a good thing. That's kind of a negative thing. And they're going to go through a process and recheck everything and make sure that temperatures are correct and food is being stored properly, sanitation practices and such. Now, a really quick side note. Before you get into all of these inspections, create a manual of what you expect and how your business will be operating, your operating procedures. There's a thing called an SOP. It's actually the standard operating procedures. It's a guide that you need to create. And if you don't know how to create one, you can actually Google this and check it out. There's something you can download. But it's going to give you a good outline so you can let every employee that's working with you, or if you have an assistant, or if you've got a family member, who's ever helping you, that they know what's expected as far as cleaning, sanitizing, also keeping food properly labeled, expiration dates, any of that stuff, making sure that it's all done on a specific a regimen, if you will, a process. That's what a standard operating procedures manual is, and you can create one yourself. I highly, highly recommend you have one. We actually have one here in our commercial kitchen for everything that we do. So basically everyone, if we have a new employee, if you hire someone part-time, everyone knows what's expected. When you start a food truck business, or any business for that matter that has food, everyone needs to be on the same page. Next up, fire inspections and fire certificates. So the fire department, why would they be interested in inspecting a food truck? Okay, well, you have to understand that if you have a generator that's operating off of propane or gas, or you've got other electrical, obviously you will, but electrical currents, and you've got things coming out of different outlets, making sure that it's done and wired properly, making sure that everything is functioning correctly, making sure that there's nothing that could be overlooked that could potentially be hazardous to the safety of your vehicle, especially with your generators. Now, most generators obviously are mounted on the external part of the food truck. Many of them are actually mounted on the back end of the food truck with specific braces, and you've got them securely locked down for the day. But they operate with some type of propane or gas, right? So you want to make sure that at all times they're functioning correctly, so there's no potential for any fire hazards. So fire certificate and inspections are the next one to expect. Now, with that being said, you want to make sure also that you have the right parking permits. Many cities and counties will require you to have a parking permit, and making sure that you abide by the area in which you can park your food truck, because you actually can't necessarily park anywhere that you wish that you want to, but you have to have specific parking permits and the times of the day, not only where you can park, but how long you can be there. Because if you exceed those parking permits and somebody cites you or you get citations, again, your food truck is your business, and that's your bread and butter, and that could cause a serious problem for you. So, all right, now in Louisiana too, there's a few things I want to run over with you really quick. You need to make sure that you have a copy of the mobile food truck's valid registration with the Department of Motor Vehicles. So all trucks must, of course, be registered with the state of Louisiana. Be sure that you register. This has nothing to do with your driver's license. It's specifically registering your vehicle, okay? Also, a copy of the automobile insurance for the mobile food truck. So you need to be providing also insurance coverage for your food truck at any point in time. And they also have specific standards as to what needs to be on the commercial general liability insurance policy. Every state kind of dictates that too, so you want to make sure that you follow up with them before you actually, these are kind of like what's known as prerequisites before you apply for this. Of course, as I mentioned before, your valid driver's license as well. And there's two other things that you need to be aware of. The cost of all of these. So let's go over some of the costs of these. So number one, when you do the application with the state of Louisiana for your food truck, there is a fee of $50, which is a non-refundable fee that's just for your application. Now, if you do get approved, the food truck permit is actually a little bit over $400 annually. keep that in mind too, and make sure that you stay on top of that renewal, because it's an annual license that needs to be renewed. It's about $400+ for that as well. An occupational license fee of $150 is also required. That's going to be an annual fee in the state of Louisiana when you start your food truck also. Now, also sales tax deposit. You need a $50 sales tax deposit. You also have a $5 ID card fee per card on that as well. Now, one thing to keep in mind too, and what I just mentioned before, food truck permits and licenses expire on the 31st of December, and they are required by the end of January of the following year. So keep in mind too that you do these renew these licenses and permits on time. Outside of that, I want to have additional resources down below the video. I'm going to send you a link directly to the state of Louisiana if you're looking to have additional resources, and you check that out as well. That's going to be great resources for you as well. If you are looking to create a food truck business in Louisiana, that is the gist of how it gets started, of course, from the legal perspective, from permits and licenses. If you've got questions about it, let us know down below, and definitely subscribe. We're a brand new channel, so we appreciate all of our new subscribers. I'll see you guys on our next video. Thanks for watching Food Truck Freaks. If you are interested in creating your own food truck and you're trying to figure out how to do that, be sure to check out these additional resources and our website. Check out the links in the description for more information on how to create a food truck business, successful food truck business that is, and we'll see you guys on our next video.